Hello, we are here today on the Believe series with Alex Goldfayn, and I'm delighted to have him here because he is a repeat guest, and we are here in his week in which he is launching his book. I'll put it up here. It is the first time that the book is live. It is 5 Minutes Selling. It's an awesome book. Alex is the guru that you want to go to if you want to know anything about selling and making selling feel good to you and to the people you're selling to, and to get a lot done in selling. So we're really, really thrilled to have Alex with us, especially as his book is launching this week. Hello, Alex.
Senya, thank you. It's great to see you again. And also, that's a lot of pressure on my head when you start saying guru and things like that. But I'm going to do my best to meet your expectations. So thank you so much for having me on. And it's lovely to talk with you again.
Excellent. We're delighted to have you. We're going to start you right from the intents of how this is different. We hear here about people who have counterintuitive beliefs or things that are a little bit different. So for you, what do you believe that others in your field don't agree with?
I don't know if they don't agree with me so much once I make my case. They tend to agree with me. But the starting point that I think that most people don't do, I think they might believe it, but perhaps not do it, is that selling is a game of proactive personal communication. And I think why a lot of salespeople or people who sell agree with that position, we know it, but we don't do it. And the problem with that is the knowing doesn't make us any money. It's the doing that actually helps people and makes the money. So, I think we need to use the phone to succeed in sales. My daughter, by the way, under my 14-foot sunflower there.
Oh.
So I think we need to use the phone. I think we need to talk to people. I think we need to tell people what else we can do for them and how we can help them. I think we need to ask people what else they need from us that we can help them with. I think we need to follow up on our quotes and on our proposals. I think we need to ask for referrals actively, systematically. And while nobody will say I'm wrong, because I'm not, I think it's a fact. It's the truth. I think we need to do these things very quickly, a little bit every day. 5 minutes is enough. And every day over a long period of time. And therein is the place where people tend to stumble, is to do things consistently in system over time.
Who has been someone who has been very skeptical of being able to do this in 5 minutes in a consistent way, and who has turned around and actually had this system work for them? So
I had, in every client engagement, there are, because I work with groups of sales people, so I get hired by the owner or the executive who runs, the business unit, and then they have customer facing teams on them, and in every team there is resistance. Right? There always is, because you're dealing with humans. I mean, you know this, you do coaching, right? And some people buy in and they want to improve, and other people don't buy in immediately, but can be brought along. And then there's a whole other group of people who simply don't want to be helped, and it's impossible to help them, right? It literally, like you could bang your head against the wall, but if somebody doesn't want to be helped, I've learned you simply cannot help those people. It's like, ever try to change somebody who doesn't want to be changed, right? You can't do it. That's how marriages end. So, one person I'm thinking about, do you want a specific person?
Totally.
Yeah. So one person I'm thinking about, would often are early in the work when I came to teach this to the company, where we prepare for about 90 days and then I come and teach, and we do an all-day workshop. And I remember he said, "I'm already doing this." And I said, "Tell me about that. What are you doing?" And he goes, "Well, I'm asking for lots of referrals." And I said, "Well, how many do you think?" And so there was a pause, and so I get lots of referrals. Also, you get them. So how many are you asking for? And there's silence. And so there was resistance there. And then he said, "I'm already using the phone all the time." I said, "Are you answering it, or are you actually making some phone calls?" Because we're all good at answering the phone, right? We can answer that. Everybody's good at serving the customer. We're excellent. We're world class at customer service. What we're not so good at is calling out and saying, "Senya, it's Alex. Hi. I was thinking about you. How's your family? How are the kids? And by the way, what are you working on these days that I can help you with?" right? Now, if we do that for just 5 minutes a day, and you're going to get voicemail most of the time, I can leave 10 voicemails in those 5 minutes. So anyway, that guy pushed back on every possible thing. Then he went off and did it, right? So we leave the workshop and we start to do the work. And just as I want you to read the book, 5 minutes selling, and then go off and do the work. In fact, I want you to start doing the work as you read the book. Chapter 2 is called, I don't want you to read the book, I want you to do the book. So the entire book is a system for selling more. Now, he went off to do it. We come back a month later for a web meeting where people talk about their wins and their successes. This guy asked for, in that month, he made it a point to ask for a referral a day. So he asked 20 days worth of referrals. He got 12. He got 12 referrals out of 20. It's amazing.
That's
huge.
huge.
I started picking up the phone and calling customers. I said, how did that go? He said, I called a customer and asked a reverse did you know question, which is something that I teach. A reverse did you know question is, what else do you need that I can help you with? What else are you buying elsewhere that I can help you with? In your world, what other coaching do you need? Who else around you needs coaching, right? That I can help the way that I helped you. So he asked the customer, what's on your wish list? That was his question. And he said she started telling him a list of things. And he goes, she got to like 6 or 7 things, and I had trouble keeping up with her. So I said, why don't you take a minute and just email it to me, right? Think it through, email me a list. He said in 15, and he's telling the story to everybody, right? He said in 15 minutes, she sent him a list of 24 things.
I read about that in your book. I love it.
24 things, same guy. I said, how many have you sold? He said, 18, only 18. I said, well, you've got 6 more to go. Let's go, sell the rest. So, and again, there's a chapter in the book that says the wins come quickly. You don't have to ask too many did you know questions or these reverse did you know questions. What else do you need that I can help you with? Until you start uncovering things that people want to buy from you. And that's a win. Something opened that didn't exist a second ago. That's a win. Something progressed from an open towards a close, a win. Something closed, of course, a win. So the wins come quickly. And the people who don't believe, who actually try to make the communications, start believing quickly.
I love it. I love it. And when I read that in the book, I love it because so somebody asked, what do you need help with? And the customer sent back a list of 24 items. You never would have gotten this. If you just followed up, how are you enjoying what we're doing for you? How is this working? You're going to get, yeah, this is great. Thank you. But 24 additional items that you might be able to.
Tanya, it's because nobody calls like this to try to help people more. We think our customers' phones are ringing off the hook. They're not. Nobody's calling. And if you show up to try to help people honestly, right? I actually say to people, I want to help you. What do you need, right? What areas of sales growth do you need help with? Because I'd like to do that. I know I can. We know it works. I'd like to help. When you come to somebody like that, they start looking for ways to give you business. They almost feel like they owe you because they have nobody else in their lives trying to help them like this.
Yeah, Alex, actually, you and I talked about this just before the show. You've got your 2 books behind you, the Selling Boldly and the 5-Minute Selling. I've read both. I really like both. And we were talking about the difference. And I think you're talking about both things here. The Selling Boldly is really about that mindset of how you are what's helping your customers. Your customers do want more. For just kind of have the chutzpah to go up and ask for ways that you can help. And then this 5-minute selling, I just love how proactive you're showing us how to be. So I'm going to turn to what I asked you for at the beginning of this program. I'm going to show on your website, when people are reading your book, how they can download these 5 pages. So you're on Alex's website, which is just goldfayn.com. And then you go down, and right next to his book, you can download these planners. So with these planners, at the same time that you're reading his book, you're downloading the information to be able to, this is your sheet. This is basically your daily sheet. Yeah. What else do you want to say about those sheets and using them?
Yeah. So thanks, Sanya. And I've got them printed here, so I'll just show you a couple of them. So the 5-minute selling process is based on 2 planners and 2 trackers. And one of the planners here is called the Proactive Call Planner. And this has 8 different categories of people that you can write down to proactively reach out to and say that conversation that we've just demonstrated. Hi, it's Alex. I was thinking about you, right? How are you? How's your family? How's life in the pandemic? How are the kids getting through summer, what's going on with school, and then you pivot gently to the business and you say, what are you working on these days that I can help you with? Anyway, I think sometimes we don't make calls because we don't know who to call, you know? And I think we have a lot of things around us with names and numbers on them, but nothing tells us who we should call. And this allows us to choreograph the proactivity of knowing who to call. You know, so just I'll read you a couple of these categories of people. One says customers who used to buy but stopped. Try thinking of 5 customers who used to buy from you but now have gone away. It's hard to do because we're not talking to them, right? They're not in our heads. So we have to take a minute and write them down. Another one says customers I haven't talked to in 3 months or more. Another great group. Can't think of them off the top of your head because we're literally not talking to them by definition. So you write down names at the beginning of the week for 5 minutes. Sunday night, Monday morning, write them down. Now you know who to call for the whole week. When I do this exercise in workshops, Senya, with attendees, I give them 90 seconds, not 5 minutes. 90 seconds, write down as many names as you can. And most aren't checking anything. They're just writing from their heads. And we get 10, 15, 20 names written down on these sheets in 90 seconds. So that's enough calls for the week, you know, in 5 minutes a day. So the tracker then, I'll just talk about this one and then we can move on. As you make your calls, I want you to write it down. And here, what you write is the customer. What did you do? Did you call them? Did you ask a did you know? Did you ask a reverse did you know? And then what did you say and what did they say? What did you say? I asked Senya, did you know about, you know, private one-on-one sales coaching? What did she say? Well, she's interested. And we have an appointment on Tuesday to discuss it. So I would write that down here. And then the very last column right there, where my finger is, this column here, is to write down a dollar amount. So that I want you to connect your 3-second efforts to how much they can be worth. So here I asked you a 3-second did you know question. It could be worth $10,000 for me or $100,000 or whatever it might be. But I want you to write that down because it took you 3 seconds.
You might not have mentioned prices with me when you talked with me, right? As a potential customer.
Correct. I just want to connect in my head, and I want people watching us to connect in their heads. The huge power, the huge financial power of these 3-second actions. And then when you fill in this sheet, when this is all filled out and you have a stack of them, it becomes a gold mine of opportunities to follow up on. It becomes a gold mine of successes that you've had. These trackers prove your success to you. It proves that you've made the calls, you've done the work, you've succeeded at it. Look at all you've done. And now it becomes energy and enthusiasm. Again, positive psychology, right? It becomes the optimism and the successes that we need to succeed.
There you go.
Well, to do it more.
That's one of your clients calling you back.
Yeah, they could wait. I'm talking to Senya.
I have 5 rapid fire questions that I think you have a different take on than other people that I'm going to run by you. And we're already getting questions. So we're going to be going to questions in just a moment.
Okay.
All right. Tell us about the did you know questions. And I have 5 of these. What is a did you know question?
A did you know question is when you tell a customer or a prospect about something else that you can help them with, which is more than what they're buying or what they've niched you to buy. So did you know I can help you with this? Did you know I can help you with that? Rattle off products and services.
What is a reverse did you know question?
A reverse did you know question is when we ask the customer to name what they need to us. So what are you buying elsewhere that I can help you with? What else do you need in my specific category of products or services? Ask like the guy who got 24 things, right? He asked a reverse did you know question. What's on your wish list is a reverse did you know question. And the book is chock full of scripting and examples of exactly these questions.
My favorite part of the book, and especially as you get to the latter chapters, it's very specific. It's here's exactly what you say in these situations, like the situations I'm asking you about. How do you ask for a referral? We did this on our last session, but just briefly for people, how do you ask for a referral?
You ask for a referral by saying, who do you know? Not do you know somebody? That's a yes or no question. We say, who do you know? Like yourself, who I could help the way that I help you, because I'd like to do that. And this makes the person think of a name. And if they give you a name, you say, you continue the conversation. You're not done yet. You continue the conversation and you say, would you like to connect us or should I reach out and use your name? I got to know what to do. If you don't tell me what to do, I don't know what to do, right? So you're going to pick an option. You're probably going to say, I'd like to connect you, because people love to give referrals, and you're going to want that credit for that referral, right? Because we want to be helpful to people. So then once I know the who and the how, I need the last thing, which is the when. I need to know, so that I'm not bothering you, when do you think you might get to it? I know how busy you are, Senya. When do you think you might get to it? You're going to tell me, today's Thursday, maybe by Monday I'll get to it. And I will say to you, okay, so you're going to connect me with so-and-so, Tom Smith. You're going to send an email connecting us. You think you get to it by Monday, so that I don't bother you. If I don't hear from you, say by Wednesday, after the Monday, is it okay if I follow up with you on this? Right? And you're going to say, of course it is, because you've just told me you'll do it by Monday. Now I'm giving you 2 more days. And as soon as that happens, I take a note. I write it down on my calendar, because if I don't, I'm going to forget. Mm-hmm. So that's how to ask for a referral.
Thank you. Really, really specific. The percentage of business question.
Senya, what percent of your business would you guess I have in these products?
10%.
Huh. It's interesting. You're one of my favorite customers. What would it look like if we did 30% together? Because I'd like to help you more.
I'm not sure that you do the kind of work that we need for that additional 20%, but we're really satisfied with you at the 10%.
Yeah. Okay. We could have stopped the role play before that, but the percent of business question is when we ask for what percent do we have, and then you ask for some more. You ask for some more. So I've got 10. You're one of my best customers. I'd like to help you more. Ask for some 25 or 30. Ask for some more.
So just go up, whatever they say. What would it take?
I know you like me because you already give me 10%, right? So you wouldn't say I'm not sure that you're right for me. I mean, I am right for you because you're already giving me 10%. So now I want to help you more. What do you need 5 people like me for when I can help you with that? Plus, we're talking now, right? Mm-hmm. Why should you have to remember to talk and remember it later with somebody else? Let me help you with it now.
Awesome.
Half of the reason that people give us business, Senya, is it saves them from give us more business. Is it saves them from having to think about it in the future. So if you aim at that psychology and leverage that, so that you don't have to think about it later, stop worrying about it. Give me your headache. Right? We're talking now. I'm here. We're together. Let me help you with it now.
Human notes.
Just handwritten notes, and nobody. Just as we don't use the phone, we don't really send handwritten notes anymore. I'm looking at my desk. My son, yesterday was my birthday, as you somehow knew miraculously, and she wouldn't. I said, "How did you know it was my birthday?" Senya won't tell me how she knew. She has some secret way of knowing, and I don't know how. So my son gave me this, but then this is cool because there's like pages, and every page has like a different note on it. Isn't that cool? So I could go through it. And he's like, I want you to tear off one and read the next one every day. So, okay, so I'll do that. So today's day 1. So a human note is when you write a note about something you talked about with somebody. So I would say, I remember you had your young daughter with you when we were having our LinkedIn conversation a month ago. And I remember she thought it was funny that my assistant was typing a note under my name. So I would maybe write a note about that, right? Hey, it's actually me writing you this note and it's not my assistant, right? And I would write that with a pen. And then I would send it and you would think it was funny. And because that's a shared memory we have. So that's a human note, right? Yeah. And if we talked about sports or if we talked about vacation or if we talked about wine, I would write a sentence about that. I would say, I hope you're doing great. Look forward to catching up with you soon. And literally, I'm not asking you for anything. I'm not pitching you anything. I'm doing something that nobody else is doing so that the next time you need what I can help you with, I'm the only one you're going to think of.
And you also say it's not a thank you note. It's a human note.
Yeah, I think that when people do put pen to paper and write notes, I think it's a thank you note that they're writing. So I think that's the only kind of notes we get. I guess we got birthday card notes, right? Hallmark card notes. So I think it's okay to say thank you, but I don't think the main purpose of the note should be thank you. The main purpose of the note should be a human note to connect with somebody on something that you talked about or an experience that you shared, like that.
Okay, and two other things that I have encountered when I've told people about your program, which is people say, what if I get a voicemail? And then people say, what if I don't have the phone numbers of the people that I'm in touch with for business? So voicemail, what do I do if I get a voicemail? And you're saying you might get 10 voicemails in a day. What do I do? What's the voicemail I leave?
You should leave one, because a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't.
I really love it. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but the chapter of Alex's in 5 Minutes Selling, his chapter is yes, you should leave the voicemail, something like that.
Should I leave a voicemail? It's a question, because we don't know. Nobody's taught us how to use the phone. It's a fascinating thing, Senya. You go to high school, you go to college. Some of us go to grad school. Who teaches you how to use the phone? Further, who teaches you how to sell anything in this life, right? And it's kind of they're two really important things. So nobody teaches us. So yes, you should leave a voicemail. Most salespeople don't know this.
So leave one for me. Suppose I work with you. Yeah.
Sure. Hi, Senya. It's Alex. I hope you're doing well. I remember our last conversation. I enjoyed it so much. Thank you again for having me on. Listen, I was working with a client here who's having spectacular success with the program, and they reminded me of you. And I think what we're doing here with her would work quite well with you, particularly well, maybe even better. So if you have a few minutes, I'd love to catch up and hear your latest and tell you a little bit about what's happening here. And here's my number. That's it. And I'm done. And it's 20 seconds and it's over. And so now I've thought about you. I've told you something warm and fuzzy, which is actually true, right? Because I do think of our last conversation warmly. I've got a person here who reminded me of you. And so that's cool. By the way, when I say I was thinking about you, it's impossible for you to get mad at me anymore after that. Like, that's an honor to be thought of, right? I was thinking about you. How many times in your life does somebody tell you I was thinking about you? Right? You remember those moments. So, and it's true. So, the small added benefit, right? It was actually the truth. I've told you about somebody I'm working with who reminds me of you. I'm telling you that this person's had great sales growth that I think would work for you. And when I leave a message like that, about 1/2 to 2/3 will call me back. 1/2 to 2/3, right? So if we go through the numbers and your job is to sell in the world, 10 a day in 5 minutes, right? I can leave 10 like that in 5 minutes. That's 50 a week personally I can leave. That's 200 a month and 2,400 a year if my math is right. In those 2,400, 50% to 2/3 are going to call me back, right? So that's 12 to 1,800, I think, something like that. 12 to 1,600 are going to get back to me. That's 1,200 to 1,600 proactive conversations that I wasn't having yesterday. That's why it's all about the system. See, if I just called every once in a while when I happen to think about it, I'd leave one today and maybe one on Wednesday and another one the week after that, And now I'm at 3.
Mm-hmm.
Or I could do 10 in 5 minutes.
What if you don't have people's phone numbers?
Well, I don't know how that would be possible.
You interact with a lot of people on Zoom calls and on email. Literally, for those people who are in businesses where they're doing their interaction with their best customers over Zoom video and over email, how do you even transition that relationship to a phone relationship?
Hey, Senya, aren't you tired of looking at little boxes on the screen? Why don't we talk on the phone next time? What's your number?
Okay.
I'm sorry if it doesn't make sense in my head, or I'm not trying to minimize it on purpose. I just now let's say you have an email address only, right? You can absolutely get the work number online and get to that phone that's on the person's desk. The problem with that phone is it's not on the desk that they're sitting at because they're at home.
The cell
right?
phone. It's not the
like
cell
the
phone.
rest of us, right?
Yeah.
So we need a cell phone. So that's a little bit trickier. If you need a cell phone, we simply have to ask for the number. I wouldn't ask for the number by email. I would ask for the number on LinkedIn. Some of the numbers might be on LinkedIn, right? Because people change jobs and there's a contact link on LinkedIn and you could click it and you actually get the cell phone number. But call the people you can call, Look, I think that the key here, let me define who we're calling. The key is that we're calling people who we know and also who know us. And people, we don't have to be friends, but I'm only calling people who recognize my name and whose name I've seen before. And if they don't know your name, if you work at a business, we want them to know at least they know your company's name, right? So we are not cold calling on these calls. We're calling people who know us and who we know, who we recognize. And all of us, no matter where we are, have hundreds of people who we know and who know us, who we can call in business, who would recognize us, right? Again, we don't have to, I'm not saying you should have had a drink with this person. I'm saying just somebody who recognizes you. And the only people who don't have anybody are like 21-year-olds who are in their first job, right? And that's the only one I will accept I don't know anybody from. But if you've been in sales or in business for any amount of time,
yeah,
there's hundreds of people who would recognize your name and vice versa.
Thank you so much. So there are a few specifics that you've given us so far. Here is a question from somebody on our with us today. So Brian is saying, completely agree with the concept of sales as a proactive communication. I'm a newbie doing sales for my solopreneur venture. Will this book give me a system for where to start?
Yeah. So Brian, if you're still watching, this is warm calling. So after that, he says, what if you are starting a new business and don't have customers yet that fit in those categories? Then he says, this is warm calling. So Brian, answer in the text, if you would, please. Do you feel like you have a bunch of people that you can cobble together, that you can reach out to, who would recognize your name and can also possibly buy what you're selling? So give me a yes or a no or a whatever you think the answer is there, and then I can continue with answering the question so that I know. I know there's a little bit of a delay. So I don't know, should we wait or should we keep talking?
I know Brian, he has people who have loved his work and have told him that they've loved his work.
Yeah, even if it's not in the business that he's in currently, but
it's in the business that he's in.
Even in the business that he's in.
I love working with Brian. Yeah.
So do you not agree that he's a newbie solopreneur? He's not that newbie?
He might be a newbie at former colleagues in a different business. Okay, he's giving us an answer.
Yeah, good. So you were happy that you got let off the hook, aren't you?
I don't want to be speaking for someone when I can see
the relief. Yeah, look, always start with people who you know well, and then go down the list. People who you know less well, people who would simply recognize your name. And so, Brian, get yourself the proactive call planner and start writing down the names of people. So here, my best customers who can buy more, smaller and medium customers who can buy, customers who used to buy from me but stopped, right? We already talked about that one. So it's just a matter of writing down and spending the 5 minutes thinking about, everything's opposite on StreamYard, 5 minutes of who you know and writing them down and then making contact with them. Is that okay, Senya? Is that helpful?
Let's wait to see what Brian says.
All right. It might take 5 minutes.
And as people think about this, about the warm selling system with Alex Goldfayn, the 5-minute selling, which is a top best-selling book right now. So go out and get it. We have had it here on the screen and we'll put it up one more time. It's literally at your Amazon right now. So go get it. Go get this. Oh, wait. Let's add it there. All right. 5-minute selling with Alex. Brian, by the way, came back and said, thanks. Alex, as we put all this together into a big bucket, what do you want to leave our viewers with?
I think that the more that we communicate with people, the more they buy from us. And the less that we communicate with people, the less they buy from us. And now, as we're all remote and, relatively isolated in our work, right? Senya, you and I are used to working from home, right? My business was from home before everybody else came home. But most salespeople are selling from a different place than they used to. Most customers are buying from different places than they used to. And also the way we interact with each other has totally changed. It's different as well. So my point is that your customers are craving human connection with helpful people right now. And they don't have very much of it. And when you connect with them, you're going to have a warm, engaging, deep conversation with them. And they need that. And so don't take that away from them. Don't hurt them. They want it. Nobody's calling because we're afraid. We don't want to offend them, right? We don't want to step on their toes. So tragically, people just want connection, and salespeople aren't giving it to them because we don't want to impose. So help people. Now especially help people. They want it from you, and if you show up and try to help them and make it clear that you're interested in helping them, they're going to thank you with their money.
So here's what I'm hearing you say: be human, make a connection.
Yes.
And in being human and making a connection, the downstream effect will naturally be that you're going to have more business with these people.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and you bring up business too. First, you be human and connect and catch up on family, and then you pivot gently and say, "What are you working on these days that I can help you with?" You actually go to the business, right? Gently. Mm-hmm. And even if they don't have anything at the moment, again, like with the handwritten note, because you're the only one who made the call. Senya, when's the last time somebody called you when nothing was wrong? Nothing was on fire. They said, "I was thinking about you. I'd like to catch up. How's the family, right? What's going on? And by the way, what do you have happening that I might be able to help with," right? When's the last time you got a call like that?
Friends do that. So friends will call like that.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think I got a call. I think my phone rang and somebody was trying to sell me something. The last time that happened was about a month and a half ago. And I remember that conversation almost word for word because it was the last one. Right? So if I need that thing, I'm calling that guy. He's the only one who called. Nobody else called. I hear from people all the time. I've heard dozens of versions of this from my clients who follow my process and reach out to people like this. They say that their customers say to them, heard this dozens of times, "You're the only one calling. Nobody else must give a damn. Nobody else must care. You're the only one who cares." Calling communicates that we care about these people. And so I'm not suggesting we need to care more. I'm suggesting we need to communicate that care some more. I think we care more than enough. But if we care in silence, nobody knows, right? It's like a tree falling in the forest. Nobody knows we care. So that's all I'm saying. Just communicate that you care.
I'm putting that up for us. Calling communicates caring.
It might be a good book title.
You're next. Thank you so much, Alex. Love speaking with you. Love that these things are practical, and love that you've shared them with us, that we can hear and get some of these ideas and explore them more in your book, 5 Minute Selling. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it very much. I'm grateful, and it's so nice to talk with you again.
You as well. All the best.